of y'all already know the 12-bar blues, but hopefully you're picturing it in the 3 rows. So you have the top row, the middle row, and the bottom row. And that's what we're going to discuss in this lesson is what can you play in each of these rows. And we're calling it Delta Blues bar by bar. So let's jump in. In the first row in the key of A, it's all A chords. Now we're going to take a lot of stuff from Robert Johnson, the king of the Delta Blues. Here are 3 things that he really likes to play over A. The shuffle. And the reason this is the first one is because no matter what, your thumb is going to need to keep this heartbeat shuffle feel, even if you're playing chords. You want to have it muted, using this part of my palm to kind of muffle the note a little bit, okay? Sometimes Robert Johnson muffles those notes so much, it turns into what we call dead thumb, and that sounds like this. It's nothing, it's just, there's no note to it, it's just kind of like a percussive click. And he's using that almost kind of like a drum backbeat. We have this specific chord that comes up a lot in fingerstyle called a long A. And it's just basically where we're barring this A chord, second position, but reaching our pinky out to catch this note A on the 5th fret of the 1st string. And then keep that shuffle feel with thumb, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the long A. And this long A pairs really nicely with the A7. So if you can go back and forth, that's a great way to get started. And that's something that Robert Johnson does in a couple of his songs in the key of A. Third thing he likes to do in the key of A is this one. Let's talk about that. This is an A7 chord in this 5th position. What you're going to want to do is bar the top 4 strings and then put your second finger on the 6th fret. And then keep that heartbeat shuffle going underneath. Now, already I know a lot of you are going to have a lot of trouble barring this off. So here's another trick that you can try. You know this D form of just a regular D chord that looks like this? I call it the triangle shape. If you take that same fingering and then you move it up to the 5th position, but starting on the 2nd string, so it's 5th, 6th, 5th. This is our same little shape that we just did, and this is a lot easier to play if you're not good with bar chords. So here's how you could play that. 1. Anytime you play a dominant 7th chord, you can slide it down and slide it back up. That's always an appropriate tension to play. So he's actually playing A, a form of D7 back to A. And that form of D7, he's playing a diminished substitute chord, which resolves back to A. So if that doesn't make sense, don't even worry about it. Just remember A7 and then slide down 2, 2, 3, 4, back here 2, 3, 4, then bum 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 bum. Now the second row is going to be 2 bars of D7 and then 2 bars of A. Almost always Robert Johnson plays this. This is just a D7 chord in the open position, but then he plays thumb over the neck on the note F sharp. So technically this is called a D7 over F sharp. Sometimes he'll do that. 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Sometimes you also hear guys like Clapton play this type of thing, and then they'll slide in from the 1st fret to the 2nd fret. You can pluck on beat 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. But oftentimes they'll kind of place that chord pluck in a syncopated way, meaning like kind of in between the beats. So something like this. if you're keeping that thumb going on that heartbeat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and as long as it lines with one of the thumbs, then you'll have a cool syncopated phrase. I think it's best to start with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, back to the A. So then we already talked about that A. Let's move on to that last row. This is where a lot of the fun happens. We have E7 for the first chord, a D7, and then we hit one beat of A and then a turnaround. E7, you can play E7 by combining all of those different chord shapes. Learn these different E's and E7s. E like this, E7 like this, and then another E7 like this. And then often with this E7, you can also take the third finger off like that. Also, this is a really cool chord to do that slide thing back up and down. That's what we can play over the E. We already know what to play over D7, just a D7. Let's add some other things that we can play over D7. One thing that comes up a lot is this. Those are some what we call melody notes that are going to happen over this D7. Just take a look at the fingers over here. If we lift our third finger off, this is called a D7 sus2. We're including the high E string. Okay, and then if we put our pinky or third finger down on the note D, the third fret of the B string, then we've got kind of a D sus2. So we have these kind of melody notes we could play. And then even sometimes we can go open to 1 there. And then finally, the turnaround. This is the spot where just memorize one of these two turnarounds. We have this, it's always going to be like this. Play one beat of A, and then this turnaround. We have another turnaround, sounds like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and. So the timing is always the same. We have one beat of A, and then we have some kind of descending line. That's the descending line over A, and then we have 2 beats of E. Right? So on this, we're just going to hit an E7. Or we hit this E7. And then that's going to start the whole cycle over. I'm going to play through it a few times in a row, and I'll label what I'm doing on the screen. Remember, the labels are going to be like this. We have long A, A7. We have the 5th position A7 that slides down and back up for tension. We have this D diminished substitute. Okay, this is the fanciest thing that happens the whole time. Okay, we also have E7 variations. D7s, and then D7 melody notes, and turnarounds. Here we go. A 1, 2, 3. Start with the turnaround. Long A. D7. It's 5th position. Diminished sub, slide, melody, shuffle, E7, turnaround. the end, when you do the turnaround, E7. If you're gonna stop it, make sure right at the end just to hit an A chord to finish it off. And those are some things that you can plug into your Delta blues. So thanks so much for watching. That's it. I'll see you guys on the next one.